Matt, thanks for joining me on the call today. Like I said, I always like to build a bit of context for people as to
Yeah,
like how we met. So we shared a love for football, and I was lucky enough to kind of meet you guys through the UFC Dinos program.
yeah.
And then years later, we kind of started working together with some remote coaching.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything in that?
No, Dinos is where it started, and then I think where we really built our relationship was I reached out to you and basically said, "Hey, I'm struggling with burnout." You took your time. I think it was one weekday night, and we chatted for a couple hours on things I could do, and that's when I think it really started. Beyond just the day-to-day training.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about burnout first. Let's build some more context there. What are you
Okay.
presently doing for work? Because that's kind of where it stemmed, and take me through kind of like just yeah, your day to day.
So I work in investment banking as a senior associate, which leads to a bit better work-life balance, but that's probably not really the right word to use. So day-to-day would be probably a 12 to 15-hour day during the week. Weekends could be anywhere from, let's say, 3 to 8 hours to a full weekend, and then you're always on your phone, always switched on, as you would say. Even vacations, work most vacations. And so for me, I'm very driven, I'd say. So I try and still fit in workouts when I can, get out to the mountains, work a ton. You name it, I probably burn the candle at both ends. So I'm susceptible to burnout. So it's something I definitely have to watch. And I think that's one thing that I've worked a ton with you on, is just figuring out, okay, I'm not going to be the same athlete I was when I was playing football, because I'm putting all my time and effort into building my career, which takes a lot out of you. And so um, between, let's say, proper sleep, training, diet, just trying to really make sure I don't get to that burnout phase again, because you might have to take a couple of months off completely if it's really bad.
Totally. Yeah, that's good. Good. That is good context. 12 to 15 hour days during the week, and then work on the weekends. I don't think too many people can relate to that, but that sounds like a little bit of a slog for sure. Tell me a little bit about what it's been like working with me so far.
So far, so I guess I think we come up on 2 or 3 years with the remote coaching. I think
Yeah.
because prior to that, I
Yeah.
was more in person through Dinos. It's been awesome for me. Like, I'd say the easiest and the best part for me is just frankly how easy it is. Like, I wake up, I look at my phone, and those are the exercises. And for the most part, I know what I'm doing. Played football, trained with you before, but the videos are nice in case I ever have to remember, okay, how does this actually work? Everything's prescribed. And then the other part that I really like is, I'd say I'm very dynamic in the sense of sometimes like, hey, I'm getting absolutely crushed with work right now. I can't have the same 4 workouts a week, same load, etc. So can we pare it back? And pretty much the next day I have a new program for 2 weeks. Or with COVID, sometimes it's like randomly, hey, going to try and take a couple days off with vacation here. Can you adjust the program? Because don't necessarily have the same access to weights, and you'll update that as well. So it's really like you hit the easy button for everything, makes it very doable. The barrier to entry isn't there, which I think helps a lot of people.
Yeah, excellent, man. That's great, man. I'm glad that it's working for you, and you find a lot of value in it. I do like the dynamic part. I think that's the beauty of a coach. I mean, really, is like meeting you where you are and helping you get to where you want to be. And there's meant to be some bumps on the road, right? So we're
Yeah,
meant to adjust and tighten up some suspension parts here and there when we need to, and loosen them when we need to as well, right? So that the reins for you, like you said, can be wound pretty tight. So we want to make sure to like give it some leeway sometimes, let you run a little bit.
totally.
What inspired you to look into coaching? Was it that burnout situation, or?
Probably that, and also just want to be as efficient with my time as I could be. Like, I think I have enough education to build my own program and understand, okay, what do I need to eat? How much rest do I need? All that just through the years of training and being very interested in it. But at the end of the day, I'd probably overdo it. And two, it's just not going to be as efficient and as well done as it would be by like yourself, obviously a professional coach. So helps me maximize gains with minimal input, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, the workouts are tough, but I mean, like, I don't have to think about what am I doing, when am I working out. It's pretty much set for me.
Nice. Yeah, I usually associate it with like just right. It's like just right for today, based
Yeah.
on all the other things that are happening in the day for you. And like I said to previously on some other talks, was I try to put my like Matt Little hat on when I'm like ready, or Tuke in this situation, when I'm ready to write your program, and
Yeah.
just like try and feel what it feels like. I've gone through 12 to 15-hour days at times with like personal training and things like that, so I can understand wanting to still prioritize fitness in your life, but also knowing the limitations of what that looks like after many days in a row of that much output.
Yeah.
So I always try and like put myself in your shoes.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
what were you doing for fitness before we started working together? What was the standard week look like? Is it like a body part split? Was it like what were you doing?
Probably meant to be body part split, but probably biased towards upper body. Hopefully.
The honest truth. I like that, man.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think I want to say probably like is the Keynote gym where my brother and I used to live, condo downtown. I think it was probably going to just be like whatever I had time for and kind of like just biased towards bodybuilder type workouts. But again,
Yeah.
like not set up properly, not the right amount of touches, not the right amount of load, etc. for my lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and scattered. Like I I've never really, or sorry, I shouldn't say never because I have now, but I mean prior to working with you, the progress was so sporadic. It would be
Mm-hmm.
like, I could have a good 4 weeks of training, and then like, hey, my deadlift was up, feel stronger, feel good. But then again, I'd miss 6 weeks because of work, and then I'd be back at zero, and it was just all over the place. So
Yeah, like
it,
a little blast and dust, right? Like it's like all in, get it all done, and
yeah,
then like crumble, and then just like build it back up again. So you're kind of repeating that same cycle all the
yeah,
time, right?
exactly.
Yeah. How do you like the coaching calls and the True Coach platform?
Both are good. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the platform's pretty straightforward. Although I hate it when I have a red X for missing a workout. It's probably a pet peeve or an OCD component for me.
Yeah.
The coaching calls are great. The one thing that's been tough here is COVID, right? Like meeting in person is a lot nicer. You
Hmm.
do the measurements, you do the weigh in, you see my movement patterns. I
Right.
like all of that, but obviously COVID wise, like, and everyone's trying to be safe. So that's been less, no fault of yours or mine here, obviously. So both platforms are great. I
Good,
don't
man.
make it simpler really. Like,
Yeah, good.
but you open it
Simple and effective, right? Like you just want to make sure that it's like everyone's still making progress, right?
totally.
What is your, this is again self-serving, but what is your favorite thing about working with me?
Favorite thing, you're very understanding, I would say. Like, and you don't put pressure on, I think, me to achieve something that's outside of what I want to do. Like, you kind of understand, I think, my personality because our relationship goes back at this point, I think, what are we, probably 10
Man,
years?
yeah,
Like,
2014, 2013, maybe. No, before that.
yeah, because I was
Jeez.
both,
2009 or 10, actually.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
crazy, man.
that built up, I think, a great relationship where you know what I want to achieve in my life, and you kind of take that, but you also know that I'm very driven and I'm probably going to bite off more than I can chew.
Hmm.
Um, and you kind of take all that and mix it together, and then also just understand like you don't put me in a spot where I feel bad for missing workouts or for not performing well or for not being where I want to be, but yet still also pushing me enough where I'm held accountable and I want to achieve. It's kind of a
Nice.
roundabout answer in a way, but
No, that makes total sense to me. And that's what I hope for most people who work with any coach is that there's like a level of challenge and support, right? So to me, it's like choosing the right challenge. And when times come that it may be too much, is knowing when to peel back and pull off, and then supporting them in whatever it might be, So for me, I'm fortunate to work with a lot of different people and like different goals, and so I get to see it from that lens where it's like everything is a valuable goal to each person as long as they identify it as valuable to them, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
I guess you also help realign my perspectives too. Like, it's like, hey, I get it. Like, you want to, let's say, go out and crush CrossFit, like if you're doing a competition, but also with the hours you're working, you're
mm,
not going to have the same sort of level of athletic success as you did when you're, let's say, 22.
right,
So all that helps. I think realigning
yeah,
expectations too.
framing expectations for sure
Yeah,
is a valuable job because you're right. I've been through lots of different transition periods in my life, including football to career. Now being a father, owning a business, all those things. They're all things that change what output or what is your priority and how much output you can put in each one, right? So it's like just again understanding the big picture and like knowing where it's like, yeah, we can totally go after those things, but it may not look the same. Or if you want it to look the same, then you got to quit your iBanking job and you got to be a
yeah.
full-time athlete. And you're like, nah, I'm
No,
good, man. Yeah.
yeah, those days
Yeah. I
are
don't want to be eating ramen again, every day for lunch. Right. So
no.
yeah. How would you describe what I do? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit along the way with the questions, but how would you describe it to someone else?
Like the process, a
Yeah, I
remote.
mean, like, yeah, if you were gonna say like, this is what Sean does to someone you're walking down the street
Yeah.
with, like, what would it be?
I would say the simplest way to put it is anyone who wants to achieve some sort of level of fitness, Sean helps you get there, understanding there's more to life than just fitness for the majority of the population. Like, we're not
Mm-hmm.
all pro athletes, right? Like, we have, depending on your situation, whether you have kids, a very demanding job, maybe you're in school, whatever it might be. There's a lot to life outside of fitness, but I think a lot of people have a fitness goal, and so simply put, you just help that person get to that point, understanding the barriers and trying to do it in as simple a way as possible to avoid those complications with like how does that work, or like how do I get a hold of Sean, or hey, I have a vacation coming up, I want to change my program but Sean doesn't reply. It's like, no, you keep it simple, you make it easy, and really it's like, I don't know, for me I find it's like it's so easy that it's on me. Like the times I haven't achieved what I want to workout wise or fitness wise is because I just didn't get the workouts in.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'll blame my job, I guess you could say, but still, it's me at the end of the day, right? Gotta own it.
Right, for sure. Some personal accountability there. I like that, man.
Yeah,
Why did you choose me over anyone else?
just our relationship.
Yeah.
You put in the work early on, and you're what I felt is you're extremely knowledgeable from day one with the dynos. You spent the extra time with me, building. I think our relationship, building your brand, building your business, and that's, in my opinion, paid dividends because I wouldn't go anywhere else. Like, no question about it. Between myself, I think my brother feels the same way. Obviously, Jess, and then friends, family, colleagues that listen will probably turn to you as well. I know it's been tough with COVID. Like, a ton of my coworkers are interested in fitness, but they just haven't really prioritized it
Right.
for
Well, I
whatever reason.
appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me. I do want to put everyone first in terms of relationship before just working together as a coaching client relationship.
Right.
So I appreciate you saying those things. Warms my heart, man.
Yeah.
So for the final question, the big kicker question here, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about working with me?
Just do it, like Nike, I
Just
guess.
do it. Yeah, I
No,
like it.
yeah, give it a go. And if it's not for you after a couple of months, like, you've been pretty flexible with me, at least historically, around like working with me on payment plans or this, that, the other thing, or whatever it might be. And then so you just
Hmm.
do it, and if you just find like, hey, it's still not for you, still want to go to those like F45 classes and be there with your friends, and whenever that happens again,
Sure.
then so be it. But give it a shot, because I find with most things in life, truthfully, it's like the barrier is starting. But once you start, you usually then realize like how beneficial it is. And I don't think anyone, if they truly put in the effort, would not see the output when working with you. They'll absolutely see it.
That's great, man. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
And as always, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to like sit with me on the call today, and answering these questions. Like I said, it's like half self-serving because I really do like listening to the stories, and it brings me back, man. Like, thinking it was 2014, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, it's like 2010, because I remembered it was before I went to Russia and trained that hockey team in Russia, and so I was like, man, like we're getting old, dude. Like I'm
I
getting
know.
really old, and you're getting older too.
Yeah,
So it's like things are changing, and like I'm so happy that you and your wife to be are like training with me, and I'm just excited for the future for you guys and to see how it all unfolds. And maybe in another 10 years we can do this call again, man.
yeah. I know it is crazy. I guess in what, probably 5 months, I'm closer to 35 than 30.
Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
so
Just
that's
like that, dude. It happens. I know. I'm 38. I'll be 39 this year, so getting close to the 40. And I was just crushing my brother like a year ago, and he turned 40, and I'm like, oh shoot, like this is my turn coming up here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, man,
It is crazy how life, how quick it is. So you
it
can't take it
is,
for
man.
granted. That's for sure.
Totally. Well, thanks again, Matt, and I'll be messaging you on True Coach with some new workouts, I'm sure.
Perfect. Thanks. Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Sean.
Thanks, man.
Okay. See ya.